Walk and talk 38. Natural decomposition, or decomposing naturally. I thought I'd start the video here, not at the bridge today. We will cross the bridge, but I wanted to show you these amazing, look at this tree with all these webs. And pretty incredible, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's not one spider, but it looks like a whole baby sac was hatched here. Let's take a step back, see if we can see it more clear. Looks like a whole baby sac was hatched here, and they're all neighbours now. And phenomenal, aren't they? Amazing. And here's the roo, a rooski roo. So naturally decomposing. That's a fun topic. Quick shout out to the viewers for your support and your wonderful comments. It spurs us to keep going. Walk and talk 38. Naturally decomposing. So I think most of you are aware now that everything we've ever been taught and told is a lie. So there's one thing that's really important. I feel it's very important, and I have done for many years. And that is, as I've explained in previous videos, what happens when we die and during the decomposing, during separation, as we separate, it's a natural process. I mean, this nature, is, you can take for a major example, again, because nature doesn't have, what timing. That was a huge tree. If you could just see it in the background, but it was huge. And that's why trees are the most dangerous life form in the jungle, as I've said before. Funny how it fell at that point in the video. I wonder if we can see it from here. There should be an open space. That was huge. It's the only thing that scares me when I'm in the jungle is when the trees start to fall around me during a strong wind. It's horrendous. So that was a big old tree, that. I don't know if we can see it. Right, so yeah, nothing in nature. You can just see the top of it over there. Over there. Nothing in nature here has a refrigerator, you know, to store the dead matter in. It all decomposes naturally. That was a huge tree. I'm tempted to have a walk over and show you it. Well, let's get to the water. I think Bruce has gone in the water now. Get in the water. He might not actually, it's not too hot today. Still a beautiful day though. Wonderful day. So everything in nature naturally decomposes and separates, which allows that gas, the spirit, as I told you in a previous video, to evaporate naturally. So everything we've been told about the system, and everything especially that they tell us that is good for us, there he is, look, has not been very good for us. So you've got to come to the conclusion, once you know what the spirit is and how what happens when we die, you've got to come to the conclusion that being put in a refrigerator in some hospital is probably not the best way for the spirit to evaporate. As I said, the spirit is water and air like a gas. So when it's in a freezer, obviously it's going to restrict that gas, isn't it, from evaporating. And that's going to be hellish for anybody that's attempting to separate. I said it takes 3 days for the spirit to evaporate from the body upon death, and that can be found, and I will give you real firm information on those 3-day periods and show you how it is being spoken of, not in just most religions, but also in ancient indigenous tribes. Say the same thing everywhere from Africa to Australia, Indonesia, sorry. It's all in there, the Celts. But I'll go over that in a different video to just to show you where, you know, how I've forged this information, how I've come to know that it takes 3 days for the spirit to evaporate. Crossing a bridge to reality, Will. Get these long skinny legs. Come on. Strong as an ox though he is. So what happens when a human dies in the Western world? Well, in Zoroastrian times, they used to just throw them in a pit. They called it the Tower of the Dead, and they throw them over these walls and leave them there to be eaten, and for their spirits to evaporate. The Tibetans leave their bodies, their dead, in situ for 3 days, because they are aware that the spirit is still conscious, and the Tibetan monk will speak to the deceased person to help the transition of that spirit, that gas, to evaporate with minimal issues. Look at these ants, look, these are rude. You'll see Bruce normally charges off when these are cutting about. They have a bite on them, and the bite is it's like they're migrating, because they're carrying what looks like eggs. Can't see any of the soldier ones though. Sorry for all these distractions, but that's just the way it goes. So when you die in the Western world, they stick us in a refrigerator. How is anything meant to evaporate? And especially, not just in a refrigerator, but in a plastic bag. In a plastic bag. That's got to be horrific. We know that everything they've ever told us that is good for us is not good for us. We know that everything they've ever told us is a lie. So them disposing of the dead is clearly not good for us, the way that they do it. And those practices they use in the modern world can't be good, really can't be good for us at all. And it's got to hinder the spirit. Another thing that's probably not very good is the formaldehyde that they embalm the bodies with, the embalming, shooting that through the waters of the canals and veins in the waters of the body. That can't be very good either. You know, to make the body look more pretty when it's on display. All of these the methods that they use to dispose of us when we die in the modern world, in the Western world, are not good. But they have absolutely no impact on the soul. Like I say, the soul ejects from the body immediately. but they will have an impact on the spirit because it takes 3 days. And while that body's being messed with and played with and picked at and cut open and looked inside, and all of its organs being put into a plastic bag, and then the body being put in the plastic bag and then put in a freezer, probably, well, they're against every single culture in history except for the modern scientific culture. So these are things to consider. I've considered it. Once my time comes, hopefully in a number of years from now, hopefully when I'm old and bald, I know I'm on my way out, I will just walk in there and be eaten alive, hopefully slowly. That's like I say, because I believe that natural course and not having the body disturbed for those 3 days is really, really important. I think it's probably the most important aspect of life, is how you're going to die and who's going to be messing with your body and your spirit once you pass. There'll probably be a lot of questions that you have regarding this. I always like when I hear about people who died, like famous people you hear who died, and they wasn't found for like 3 days. It's almost as if, you know, that higher power has chosen that way. One example of that was, I forget his name. He did a very famous cover of the Leonard Cohen song called Hallelujah. I forget his name. If it comes back to me, I'll tell you. If not, I'll put it in the comments. But if you type in cover of Hallelujah, you'll find a very popular one, and that's the guy. He went swimming in a river with friends, got washed away, and wasn't found for 3 days. Yeah, people like Kurt Cobain as well, who wasn't found for 3 days after whatever happened to him, which I don't believe was suicide, because nothing's ever what they tell us, is it? So then you're kept in a freezer, and then most people are put out into a crematorium and burned. And most people are like, oh well, once I'm dead, I don't really care what happens. I think we're all like that, so I'm not really taking the mick. I was like that too. And you can see where they're coming from. But that's just what the system wants people to say and to think about it. Yeah, they burn you up in a fire. I wonder how that... So once you're out of that fridge freezer and you're thawing out and your spirit's going, oh wow, finally I can start to evaporate. Or maybe it can't, maybe it's trapped because of the embalming process. But they then put you in a fire and burn you up. I'll tell you something about how deeply I feel and for how long I've felt this way about the separation phase upon death. Come here, boy. Roo, come here. Come here, boy. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a wonderful boy. Let's have a look. See this collar on Bruce? You see this collar? This is my old dog's collar. I had a German Shepherd in England, and his name was Wolfus Maximus, or for short, Boo Bear. And where I had the unfortunate choice of, well, he got cancer, and we got rid of it the first time under his left leg, left front leg. And we got rid of it the first time, and it come back, and they said we're going to have to take the leg off. And I was left with the choice whether to put him down or keep him with one leg gone. And it was one of his front legs, and he was getting a little bit on. He didn't have the strongest back score, so his back legs are prone to go on German Shepherds. So I took the choice to have him put down, and we drove away with him there, and they said, I said, what happens to him now? And they said, oh well, we're going to burn him with a load of other dogs. And I left, and then 5 minutes later I rushed back in, drove back there, rushed in and said, look, I want my dog, like I want his body. And they're like, oh, we can't. I said, no, listen, I want my dog's body now. And they went and got it, and it had been crushed up in whatever manner they do it, and it was a bit horrible. And I took him home, dug him a hole, and didn't bury him. I left him outside, cut the bag he was in open, and left the bag open and left him out in the air for 3 days before burying him. And I can't guarantee this, I can't promise, I can't guarantee this for sure, but I have a very strong feeling that Bruce took 7 years, mine, but Bruce is his eyes are identical. His eyes are identical to Boo Bear's. Let's have a look at you. Sit. Let's have a look at you then. And he's got the brown. See the brown around his eyes? I'm not sure exactly, but there's every possibility that his spirit could be the Boo Bear's, and had traversed a couple of lives through different things before coming into Bruce. A beautiful butterfly. That's always a good sign. And so there's every chance that Bruce is, well, the spirit, not the soul, and his physical body's totally different, but he could be my old dog, because his spirit was evaporated in the correct manner. And very strange how it all works, but not so strange if you look at it more closely. So I guess just to conclude then, I don't think the methods that they use to dispose of dead people are best practice. In fact, I would say they're harmful. It's a harmful process, a harmful way, a horrible way, and a disrespectful way to dispose of humans once they die. The purpose for that, there's probably a whole list of purposes. The spirit can be trapped, the soul can't. They can't do anything about the soul, but they're just getting onto now. The science is just getting onto playing about with the spirit. Well, they've been doing it for years, but they're just telling us now that they're playing it. They can play around with the spirit. Hence the two dire wolves that they've brought back from extinction. Great. I wonder if they can bring back Jimmy Savile. Oh God. These things have been happening, folks. Them dire wolves is just what they've told us now, but don't think that they haven't had this technology for a long time. And don't think people that have been born from the wealthy haven't been genetically altered. Another point before I close off on this video is I heard a video from a part-time grave digger who dug the hole, was asked to lift a coffin, and he was amazed by how light it was and that there was nothing inside it. And that's because some of these burial services have been taking those dead bodies and selling off their body parts for experiments and worse. So, again, don't trust the system, even when you die. And that'll be all for this video. Be blessed, everyone. If you have any questions on the topic, let me know, and I'll try to reach out and answer them. Be blessed. Roo, you're going to say goodbye then? Say bye-bye, Roo. Oh, he's a Rooski. Oh, he's a beautiful Roo. He's such a beauty. Such a blimmin' beauty.